If a government employee stands 10 feet from a dying child and does nothing, and the law says that's fine, who exactly is that government working for? Because according to Texas courts, it's not the kid. We're told school resource officers exist for one reason: to keep kids safe. Cops in schools are supposed to be a seatbelt, a fire extinguisher, a human shield when things go sideways. That's the sales pitch. More guns equals more safety in the hallways. More badges equals more protection in the schoolyards. More uniforms equals a "don't worry, we've got this" peace of mind for parents. That's the bumper sticker. That's the press conference. That's the comfortable lie we repeat so that we can sleep at night, because nobody wants to admit the unthinkable, that the people paid to protect children aren't legally required to protect children at all. There's no legal requirement for them to save your child. The acquittal of former Uvalde school police officer Adrian Gonzalez didn't just shock the conscience or expose a loophole. It confirmed a business model, something that the courts have been whispering for decades. Police have no specific legal duty to protect individuals. Not you, not me, not a classroom full of terrified kids or your kid bleeding out in a classroom. The courts have ruled on this again and again and again. Serve and protect isn't a duty. It's not a promise. It's a merchandising tagline. And in Uvalde, that tagline became a mass grave, buying 78 minutes, 78, of standing around while children died. 78 minutes is not hesitation, and it isn't confusion. It's not even chaos. It's an extended lunch break with screaming in the background. It's institutional paralysis with a legal safety net. And when the dust settled, the law shrugged and said, "Judgment call." Funny how judgment never seems to cost the people who wear the badge. Let's stop pretending that this is complicated and be absolutely clear, because here's the part that nobody wants on a yard sign. If you freeze for 78 minutes while a child is murdered, you're a monster and you're going to go to prison. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. If they do the same, especially while in uniform, it's policy, procedure, a strongly worded internal review, and a pension. That's not law enforcement, and it certainly isn't justice. That's risk management for the state under the guise of qualified immunity. But in all of the hoopla, did you notice the one thing that did work flawlessly that day while kids were dying? The one aspect of this whole situation that was enforced with military precision was restraining parents. Parents were tackled, parents were handcuffed, parents were threatened with arrest for trying to do what the system wouldn't: save their own children. The state didn't hesitate for one moment to use force. It just aimed that force on the people without badges, not at the shooter. And when Officer Ruben Ruiz tried to reach his own wounded wife, they disarmed him, removed him, and neutralized the problem, which apparently was the husband. So to be clear, the problem wasn't the shooter. The problem was another human being refusing to stay in his lane. As a veteran, that says to me that something mattered more than human life: the chain of command. Hierarchy over humanity, protocol over life. That's not just a tragic mistake. That's certainly not a policing failure. That's authoritarian reflex. That's the system doing what it's designed to do: reward cowardice. Let's quit lying to ourselves or simply accepting the propaganda narrative. The primary purpose of school police is not to protect children. Their purpose is to protect institutions from blame and liability, and to protect bureaucracies from lawsuits. And when they're not catastrophically failing during rare emergencies, like standing around doing nothing during a massacre, they're busy criminalizing normal childhood behavior. Handcuffs for hallway shoving, citations for classroom disruption, arrests for being 12 with impulse control still under construction. Teachers are trained to teach. Counselors are trained to de-escalate. Cops are trained to enforce compliance. So when you embed police into schools full-time, you don't get safer kids. You turn childhood mistakes into criminal records. That's not safety. That's permanent probation disguised as education. Real liberty-centered reform looks like ending mandatory police presence in schools. Police should respond to real threats, not daily discipline. But if police remain in schools, instituting a clear and enforceable duty to intervene during active violence, using armed response only for credible active threats. stripping blanket immunity when cowardice costs lives, returning school administration to educators, not armed hall monitors of the state, and practicing accountability that runs upward, not just downhill. That's not anti-police, it's anti-cowardice and anti-bullshit. So let me ask again, if the law says your child's life is optional but pretending the system is mandatory, who is the system really designed to protect? Because it sure as hell isn't families. Here's the truth that both major parties would rather you not put together. Republicans sell authoritarian control wrapped in a badge and a thin blue flag. Democrats sell it wrapped in grant programs, panels, task forces, and press releases. Different colors, different accents, same leash, same command voice. And neither party has earned the right to lecture you about unity while defending a system that shields power and disciplines the desperate. Real unity doesn't come from force. It doesn't come from obedience. It comes from accountability. And until we stop confusing uniforms with responsibility and worshiping institutions that refuse to act on that responsibility, the next Uvalde won't be a tragedy. It'll be policy working exactly as intended. So here's your homework. If school police aren't legally required to protect children in schools, why are we pretending that armed officers in school hallways is equal to safety? Say it out loud, argue in the comments, and share this if it made you mad, because comfort is how this system survives, and anger is what finally breaks complacency.